When I was 6 months pregnant, my husband cheated on me. He hugged the mistress tightly and said that they were truly in love. I did not cry or make a fuss. I quickly contacted a lawyer to divide the property and to pick up the son. After our daughter was born, I spent $1 million to give him a house to support himself. In the 4th year of raising our daughter alone, my ex-husband suddenly came to visit. During the 2 years he had been with the child, my daughter was completely brainwashed and said that I was a bad mother. I contacted a lawyer directly and changed the heirs of all the property under my name. Since my ex-husband wanted a child so much, I would help you and your daughter. Today is the day my ex-husband comes to pick up our daughter. Our daughter got up early for the first time ever. She excitedly took out her small suitcase and gestured to the nanny that she wanted to take this and that, as if she had to empty the house. I walked up to her, touched her hair and asked, "Xiao Xiao, do you want to see your dad so much?" Yes, Xiao Xiao likes her dad and wants to live with her dad. My daughter was concentrating on packing the teddy bear toy into the suitcase and did not look up at me. But if she lives in her dad's house, Xiao Xiao won't be able to see her mom. Won't you miss me? No, I don't like mom. Hearing these words from my own daughter, the bitterness in my heart reached its peak. Then who do you like? I like dad and aunt. The aunt that Xiao Xiao mentioned was the one who was caught when I was 6 months pregnant. She was the cheating partner of my ex-husband Zhang Jiaming. Chanjia, I took my hand back from my daughter's head, and the last trace of my desire to keep her faded away. Xiao Xiao, go have breakfast. Mom will help you pack your luggage, okay? Okay. By the way, Mom, I need 2,000 yuan. What do I need the money for? I want to buy gifts for dad and aunt. Xiao Xiao, I have been cultivating his concept of money since he was a child. He knows that 10 yuan can buy an ice cream, and he also knows that 100 yuan can go to McDonald's with friends. He also knows that 2,000 yuan is enough to buy 10 of his favorite dolls. This is not a small amount. After thinking about it, I took out 1,000 yuan from my wallet and handed it to him. Mom doesn't have a job and can't take out that much money. Xiao, take 1,000 yuan and go pick out a gift, okay? Xiao was immediately unhappy. He threw the teddy bear in his hand away, pointed his finger at me and shouted, "Mom is stingy, Xiao, be good. You can choose a very good gift with 1,000 yuan. Last week, didn't the painting class teacher praise your beautiful painting? Bring your paintings to show dad. Your dad will definitely like them." No, I don't want them. I want to buy clothes for dad. Dad wants clothes, not paintings. Xiao began to cry at the top of his voice. If I hadn't stopped him, I'm afraid he would have been rolling on the ground at this time. I had a splitting headache, so I had to take out another 1,000 yuan from my wallet and stuffed it into his hand. Okay, go buy clothes for your dad. Xiao, holding 2,000 yuan in his hand, immediately wiped away his tears, snorted at me and ran out of the room. With mixed feelings, I looked around my daughter's room at the mountains of toys, the cabinets filled to the brim with brand-name clothes, the expensive drawing boards and dramas, and the dusty canvas in the corner. For the past 6 years, I have tried my best to take care of my daughter's food, clothing, housing and transportation, and meet her requirements and preferences in everything, striving to give her the best life. However, her biological father, Zhang Jiaming, not only did not give her a penny of child support after the divorce, but in the past 2 years, he often asked me for money under the guise of Xiao. But in the end, I became the stingy person that my daughter hates. I thought darkly, perhaps this is the ungrateful gene passed down from Zhang Jiaming. At 10:30 the car appeared outside the hospital gate. An hour and a half later than agreed. The car slowly stopped. I was about to give Xiao a few more instructions, but Xiao struggled to break free from my hands and happily ran towards Sister Chun, who got off the passenger seat. I swallowed back the words I wanted to say. I held back my nausea and turned my head away, not wanting to see the woman who almost caused my miscarriage and my daughter hugging each other affectionately. With these things, Xiao will stay with me for 2 weeks this time. Shouldn't you prepare more nutritional supplements and clothes for the child? How can you be a mother? From the time Xiao was born to the age of 4, you never showed up once and never gave her any child support. How dare you accuse me of not being a mother? Xiao is only 6 years old. She only needs a few sets of nutritional supplements and clothes. If she has more, your car won't be able to fit them. Zhang Jiaming's face was livid, but I didn't even bother to look at him. I just quietly looked at the black car behind him. The second day of my marriage to Zhang Jiaming in 1989, he was still an ordinary student worker in a car repair shop. He had to get up at 6 o'clock every morning to catch the bus. He couldn't even catch the last bus after get off work at night. He had to walk several kilometers to get home. He lost weight rapidly. I made different kinds of soups and tonics for him every day, but it didn't help. I really couldn't bear to see my husband working so hard. Finally, in the second year after I severed ties with my family, I bowed my head to my parents and wanted to borrow money to buy a car for Zhang Jiaming. When Zhang Jiaming knew that I had contacted my family secretly to borrow money, he broke up with me. Huang got angry at me, and he mentioned in tears that our marriage was strongly opposed by my parents. He also started to say that he was now working hard to learn from the old master, and would soon be able to start taking jobs to make money. One day my parents would recognize us and this relationship. His words made me feel particularly distressed. After this quarrel, Zhang Jiaming worked even harder, getting up earlier and going to bed late than before. Until one morning, he fainted at the bus stop due to hypoglycemia and was sent to the hospital by passers-by. I panicked and called my parents, crying on the way to the hospital, telling them the whole story. My father was finally moved by Zhang Jiaming's diligence and ambition, and not only gave us a car out of his own pocket as a wedding gift, but also took him to make connections after he was discharged from the hospital, and gave him a sum of money as startup capital for opening a car repair shop. From then on, our life gradually became more affluent. Looking at this car now, wo ai ni. He tried every trick in the book, and when he finally realized my indifference, he took out the IU for 800,000 yuan that he had written to his mother at some point, and transferred all our joint assets during our marriage to his hometown on the pretext of repaying debts. Then he brought Chan Jia into the house and proudly announced in front of me and my parents that he and Chan Jia were the ones who truly loved each other. I held my breath, and after half a month of chaos, on the day I finally got the divorce certificate, I had a threatened miscarriage due to long-term overwork and mental strain, and was sent to the hospital to preserve the fetus. My mother and sister looked at me, who was skinny but had a big belly, and they cried for 3 days. My father also sighed repeatedly, angry that he had not seen Zhang Jiaming's true face earlier and caused his daughter to suffer. But Xiao Xiao's birth washed away all the sorrow. 3 months later, I successfully gave birth to a healthy and lovely baby girl. I decided to give her the best things in the world. With the help of my parents, I took out all I saved up my savings and bought a property in the city center for her to rely on. I had seen too many news reports about nannies abusing children, so I was always worried about leaving Xiao Xiao in the care of a nanny. After careful consideration, I quit my high-paying job, hired a nanny, and became a full-time single mother at home. When my daughter was 8 months old, I began to cultivate her autonomy and decisiveness, guiding her to eat and sleep by herself, and cultivating her interests and hobbies. In this process, she broke her bowl countless times, but I never got angry. Even when I looked at the walls that were messed up with paint and crayons, I had an idea and hired an art teacher for my daughter to teach her to paint. After my daughter was 2 years old, I began to take her out often, so that she could see the world and teach her the etiquette of getting along with others. My daughter lived up to my expectations and became a well-behaved and sensible child. It seemed like fate arranged for me to make up for the pain of meeting Zhang Jiaming. Every day of these 4 years, I have been grateful to God for giving me such a perfect little angel. I am lucky enough to be his mother. Such happy days finally came to an end. When Xiao Xiao was 4 years old, Zhang Jiaming appeared in front of me again. When he first started visiting his daughter, everything was normal. Xiao Xiao looked happier than before. Every time after parting with her father, she would pull me and chatter for most of the day about what happened today. Looking at my daughter's smiling face, I convinced myself to let go of the past grievances and convince myself that a child's growth cannot be without fatherly love. Such a way of getting along is conducive to my daughter's growth. It was I who allowed Zhang Jiaming to visit Xiao Xiao once a week. After half a year, Xiao Xiao's personality began to change. As long as there was something unsatisfactory, even if the weather was bad and she couldn't go out, Xiao Xiao would be upset for a long time, and then hide in her room alone. His father sent messages and called. When I asked him what he had told his father, he either replied that this was a secret between my father and me and I couldn't let you know, or he would lose his temper and shout hello. Soon Xiao Xiao's way of being upset began to escalate. When he was angry, he would smash things and roll on the ground. If I stopped him, he would not let me touch him. He would cry and shout for his dad. In the worst case, Xiao Xiao would push the nanny and smash things, and even secretly hit the puppy at home with stones. At that time, I did not think badly of him. I just thought that the child had reached a rebellious period, so he was so sensitive and irritable to the discipline of adults. So, while learning how to deal with the rebelliousness of the child, I asked other mothers for advice. Until last month, Xiao Xiao pretended to be sick and asked for leave from the teacher to skip school. I found out about it and I criticized him. Xiao Xiao clenched his fists with red eyes, grabbed the vase on the table and threw it at me. Amid the crisp sound of breaking glass, he cried and shouted at me, "You are a bad mother, I hate you. You are just like what your father said, a selfish bad woman. I want to find my father, I want to live with my father and aunt, I don't want you." Xiao Xiao ran back to his room crying and slammed the door. I was stunned in the living room with broken glass all over the floor. The scene of Zhang Jiaming and Chan Jia showing off in my house and Xiao Xiao's figure overlapped endlessly in my mind. Dark and terrible thoughts arose in my mind. It turned out that the daughter I had conceived and given birth to with great difficulty, who was spoiled with my last name, inherited Zhang Jiaming's inferior genes. Xiao Xiao came out to play with her father and aunt today. Is she happy? Xiao Xiao likes her father the most. Did Xiao Xiao prepare a gift for her father? Chen Jie seduced Xiao Xiao while staring at her intently. She took out a wad of money from her bag. After discovering that there was only 2,000 yuan, Chen Jie made a disdainful sound and put the money into his pocket. Zhang Jiaming glanced at Chen Jie with disgust. He did not stop him from taking the money from Xiao Xiao. He just took Xiao Xiao's hand and walked to the snack stand nearby. Xiao Xiao is so good. Let's take a break and eat something, okay? Okay, Dad, I want to eat ice cream. Dad will buy you whatever you want. Dad, I want a little bear. Xiao Xiao pointed and chose the most expensive Winnie the Pooh ice cream in the snack kiosk. Zhang Jiaming was about to place an order when he was stopped by Chen Jie. Didn't you see how much that thing costs? Why don't you just buy one? Just give him whatever he wants. Are you his mother? Besides, I have money to spend on him. What do you have? Don't forget that the one in my belly is yours. The son Zhang Jiaming's face darkened. As a phoenix man who wants both, he had an unequal economic marriage and had always been from the countryside. Zhang Jiaming was in pain and hated his ex-wife for looking down on him and feeling sorry for him from time to time. He also resented that his father-in-law and mother-in-law had never taken the initiative to give him money to support him, which resulted in his career not making any progress for many years. Chen Jie's words immediately ignited the anger that had been buried in his heart for a long time. He was reluctant to spend 100 yuan on ice cream for his daughter. How can I fight for the custody of Xiao Xiao? You also heard what the lawyer said. Now the child is on our side. As long as we can prove Ming is capable of raising the child, so it will be very easy to get custody. When I become Xiao Xiao's guardian, the property and house under his name will all belong to you and your son. Although Chen Jie is also jealous of the house and property, he cares more about his unborn child. What if Zhang Jiaming favors his daughter more in the future? It is better to wait until Zhang Jiaming and his ex-wife are in court, and then discuss with the lawyer to ask for a sum of money to settle the matter. In short, buy something cheap. Chen Jie has his own plan, so he is too lazy to argue with Zhang Jiaming. He asked the front desk for the cheapest ice cream on his own. Even so, when paying, the price of 20 yuan still made him frown. Xiao Xiao smiled and handed the ice cream to Chen Jie. Zhang Jiaming watched from the side and did not take the initiative to ask for Winnie the Pooh ice cream. This is not my ice cream. Xiao Xiao shook her head and raised her little mouth. Dad, I want Winnie the Pooh. The bears are sold out. Believe Dad, this tastes the same. It's different. I want Winnie the Pooh, the noon one. The amusement park was scorched by the sun, and the ice cream in Chen Jie's hand began to melt quickly. The white liquid dripped down the cone onto his hand, which made Chen Jie's already bad mood even more irritable. Xiao Xiao listened and took the ice cream. Let's play the next project. I don't want Xiao Xiao to swing her little hand and hit the ice cream in Chen Jie's hand. The ice cream bucket fell on Chen Jie's new shoes with a snap. Little bastard, look at what you have done. Chen Jie grabbed Xiao Xiao's arm and slapped him hard. Xiao Xiao never expected that the usually gentle and amiable aunt would hit him. He was stunned for a long time before he reacted and burst into tears in the crowded amusement park. What are you doing? Xiao Xiao's crying attracted the attention of more and more tourists, and even the staff in the amusement park came over here. Sir, do you need help? No, Zhang Jiaming accompanied the smile and repeatedly stated to everyone that he was the child's biological father. But Xiao Xiao was losing his temper and her face turned pale, and no matter how Zhang Jiaming coaxed her, she was unwilling to open her eyes and look at him. How about this, sir? Please take your family and children to the staff room to rest first. The staff felt that the couple was becoming more and more suspicious, so they found an excuse and half politely and half forced them to the workshop, and even invited the security guards from the amusement park to discuss whether to call the police. Look at what you have done. The originally good arrangements have been disrupted. Zhang Jiaming lowered his voice and angrily accused Chen Jie. Don't you see that the little bastard has no manners at all? Who are you saying is a bastard? Chen Jie saw that Zhang Jiaming was angry and shut up angrily. Sir, can you please take your ID cards? To be cautious, we need to check them. No problem. Zhang Jiaming was in a hurry and took out the ID cards of 3 people and handed them over. You said this is your daughter. Yes, but your surname is Zhang, your wife's surname is Chan, and your daughter's surname is Sheng. The daughter took the surname of his ex-wife. This is a great pain for Zhang Jiaming this moment. He even spoke with gritted teeth. Sorry, sir. We need to verify the information you said. Could you tell me the contact information of your ex-wife, please? Yes, that's right. Zhang Jiaming is my ex-husband. You said the child is with him. I clearly asked the nanny to send the child to my parents' house. Ah, did you make a mistake? I said as innocently as possible, but I would feel more at ease under the supervision of the police comrades. I'm sorry to trouble you. I will call the nanny to pick up the child now. I hung up the phone and returned to the conversation with Lawyer Chen. Is there anything important? Lawyer Chen asked. My ex-husband was suspected of abducting a child in the amusement park. The amusement park has already called the police. It's probably just a few hours of sitting in the police station. It's no big deal. The rest I don't understand is whether you want the child back or not. I smiled and asked Lawyer Chen. Lawyer Chen, do you have children? No, but I have a Samoyed and a blue cat. Both cats and dogs very happy. I continued, if you have raised a dog for 4 years, and then your ex-boyfriend suddenly appears and offers to walk it for you once or twice a week, and you agree, but half a year later, your dog suddenly starts to become manic, disobeys discipline, and even bites you, and the only time it behaves well is when it lies at the door waiting for your ex-boyfriend to come, do you still have the confidence to keep the dog? If he really wants to live with his father, then maybe letting him go is the best choice. Although I don't intend to stop Xiao Xiao from living with his father, Zhang Jiaming has used so many tricks behind the scenes to separate me and my daughter. At this time, I will not be a saint, but I have to make him unhappy. Lawyer Chen showed a smile of sudden enlightenment and continued my words, so it's cheap to just sit in the police station for a few hours. If it were me, I would have to pay him a price. In fact, I think so too. So I came here today to hope that Lawyer Chen can do me a favor. What favor? I want to ask you to draft a will. Change the heir of my property. Also, if you happen to be familiar with a real estate agent, I hope you can help ask what the price of a 3-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment in Binjiangnu City can be sold for. Mr. Zhang, please take your children and wife and go to the police station with the police comrades. Isn't that crazy woman talking nonsense? Chen Jia was more excited than Zhang Jiaming. He grabbed Xiao Xiao's arm and pushed her in front of the staff. Look carefully, this is his biological daughter. Madam, please let go of the child first. Why should I listen to you? This is his biological daughter. I am his wife, and I am the child's stepmother. Are you teaching me how to do things? Chen Jia's strength in his hands was getting stronger and stronger. Xiao Xiao was pinched so hard that it hurt. She pouted and burst into tears. Madam, please calm down. Sister Chen, you go first. Zhang Jiaming was about to stop Sister Chen, but his attention was attracted by the voice behind him. Hey Zhang Jiaming, I knew I was not mistaken. What a coincidence, Mr. Liu. You are here to play with your family, right? This is your daughter, she's so cute. Facing the big boss of the cooperative company, Zhang Jiaming immediately put on a flattering smile. Before he could make further greetings, the disgusting scream forced Zhang Jiaming to deal with this mess first. What right do you have to torture my husband? Save my lady, we suspect you of kidnapping a child. Please come with us with your husband. The police officer from the police station glanced at Zhang Jiaming, who was embarrassed with a stern look, as if he would be tortured if he didn't cooperate. Jiaming, since you are still busy, I'll go first. The smile on Mr. Liu's face disappeared, and Zhang Jiaming secretly groaned in his heart. Everyone in the circle knew that Mr. Liu valued family the most. His daily mantra was that only men with family in their hearts could be assured as business partners. Zhang Jiaming knew that the project he had spent a lot of effort on seemed to be going to fail. Xiao Xiao, who had cried several times, fell asleep in Zhang Jiaming's arms after walking a few steps. Unable to provide any useful testimony, Zhang Jiaming and Chen Jia had to sit in the police station outside the playground for a full 3.5 hours before they finally waited for the nanny who explained the whole story to the police. As soon as she went home and settled her sleeping child, Zhang Jiaming immediately scolded Chen Jia. Do you know how much you have delayed me? Chen Jia did not show any weakness. He put his hands on his hips and scolded Zhang Jiaming. If you hadn't insisted on taking care of your ex-wife's child, would so many things have happened? Besides, if the police hadn't contacted Shang Xiao for mediation today, do you think he would have been willing to let the nanny send Xiao Xiao's luggage home again? At this point, Zhang Jiaming gradually calmed down. Chen Jia was right. If the police hadn't called to mediate in the afternoon, Shang Xiao would definitely not have been willing to let the nanny send more of Xiao Xiao's luggage. Now that Xiao Xiao has the opportunity to stay with him for a few more days, his chances of fighting for custody are also greater. As for the project of General Manager Liu's company, Zhang Jiaming's heart was bleeding. In order to get this big project, he spent a lot of money and even borrowed a large sum from Chen Jia's parents, promising to pay it back as soon as the project money arrived and to buy a new house for their daughter. Now that the project money can't be obtained, the house in Binjiangnu City must not go wrong. Okay, you are so excited about being pregnant. Aren't you afraid of hurting my son? Zhang Jiaming softened his tone and began to coax Chen Jia. But don't say I didn't remind you. I have no objection to letting him live at home temporarily, but your mother knows that I am pregnant and said she will come to see us this weekend. There will be no other room for him to stay at that time. Don't worry, my mother can't stay for a few days. Besides, he hasn't seen his eldest granddaughter since Xiao Xiao was born. It's just right for them to live in the same room and get close to each other. Are you sure? Chen Jia recalled the mean look of the old witch and sneered. Don't make a fuss. Don't wait until then. Xiao Xiao cried and shouted to go home. It's not as exaggerated as you said. Zhang Jiaming hasn't been with his mother for a long time, and his son has a very thick filter. Don't worry, wife. When I get the custody of Xiao Xiao, I will transfer his house to my name. Then there will be plenty of space at home for our mother and our son to sleep. Oh, my eldest grandson, Grandma is here to see you. Early in the weekend morning, Zhang Jiaming's mother slammed the door at the top of her voice. If Zhang Jiaming opened the door 1 second later, the neighbor next door would shout and ask the property management to drive him away. After pacifying the angry neighbor, Zhang Jiaming had to coax the grumpy Xiao Xiao and take her to Xiao Xiao went to her grandmother whom she had never met before and asked her to call her grandmother. What was unexpected was that before Xiao Xiao could even call her grandmother, Zhang Jiaming's mother had already run straight to Qian Jia. Her eyes shining, staring at Qian Jia's flat belly like a dog seeing a meat bun. She said, "Oh, you're still standing. Sit down quickly. Don't tire my grandson out." A 6-year-old child is in a sensitive period, and Xiao Xiao has always been smart and used to being the focus wherever she goes. Therefore, when she was ignored by Zhang Jiaming's mother, Xiao Xiao immediately became angry. Xiao Xiao was in love with this grandma who had an unpleasant voice, rude manners and ignored her existence. The bad grandma hated Xiao Xiao. She shook off Zhang Jiaming's hand and stomped her foot angrily. She turned around and ran back to the bedroom, slamming the door with a loud bang. In the living room, Zhang Jiaming's fucking scolding could be heard through several doors. The little bastard actually dared to scold me. He had no manners at all and was a money loser. Zhang Jiaming tried to persuade the old mother and coax Xiao Xiao, and finally got the two of them to agree to sleep in the same room. But when Grandma was away, Xiao Xiao immediately complained to Zhang Jiaming. "Dad, when is Grandma leaving? I hate Grandma. Why doesn't Xiao Xiao like Grandma?" "Because Grandma doesn't like Xiao Xiao either. And she also scolded me." Grandma didn't dislike Xiao Xiao. She just didn't like Xiao Xiao's mother. Then why didn't Grandma like Mom? Because Mom scolded Grandma in the past and drove her out of the house. Why did Mom drive Grandma out? Because Mom wanted to live in the big house alone. She doesn't like to share with others. Mom is a bad person. Zhang Jiaming saw Xiao Xiao took the bait and deliberately guided her. Xiao Xiao has been living in Dad's house these days. Will she feel that the house is too small? Xiao Xiao recalled and then nodded. Xiao Xiao has no place to play with toys. In fact, Xiao Xiao's mother prepared a big house for Xiao Xiao. If Xiao Xiao moves to that house, she will have a place to play. But Xiao Xiao doesn't want to live with her mother. Mom is a bad person. Xiao Xiao frowned immediately. Then Dad and Aunt will move in to live with you. In this way, Xiao Xiao will not only have a place to play with toys, but also can live with Dad and Aunt. What do you think? Okay, then Xiao Xiao will call her mother now. Zhang Jiaming smiled and handed the phone to Xiao Xiao, stretched out his index finger and put it on his lips. Remember what Dad told you before. The little secret between us can't be known to Mom. Well, Pinky promise. I didn't expect you to be so fast. Lawyer Chan handed me a pen. I heard from my aunt that you were recently interviewed. I was still worried about you. I'm too busy and planned to send you the documents. I was originally very busy, but these few days Xiao Xiao mentioned the matter of the house in Binjiangnu City every time she called me. I knew it was Zhang Jiaming who was instigating it behind the scenes. He was so impatient I had to deal with it all before him. I sat in front of Lawyer Chen's desk and signed my name on the will I had prepared in my mind. From now on, all my property and real estate will be inherited by my parents and sister. Xiao Xiao can only get the alimony determined by the court. How did you talk with the real estate agent I introduced to you last time? I have known him for a long time, and he will definitely not cheat you and let you sell at a loss. At this time, even if I sell it at a loss, I will sell it without blinking. Can I leave it to Zhang Jiaming and that mistress? I smiled and continued, but your friend said that now is the time when the market is good, and the real estate in Binjiangnu City is a high-quality real estate. Yesterday, a buyer gave a price that was even higher than when I bought it. At that time, it was more than 4 or 5 times higher. But I'm worried that the house was originally written in Xiao Xiao's name. Will it affect the sales process? Xiao Xiao is a minor, and you are his guardian and the actual investor of the property. You must bring the household registration booklet and relevant documents. Even if Xiao Xiao does not show up, the transaction can be completed. I breathed a sigh of relief and nodded. I'm relieved. Sorry to trouble you. You're welcome. But I suggest that you better deal with the house as soon as possible. Zhang Jiaming is so greedy for this house. It is estimated that he will soon file an appeal with the court to change the custody. By then, it will not be so easy for you to sell this property. I understand. I raised my hand. Lawyer Ji Chaochen blinked. 1 minute ago, I had contacted the intermediary and the buyer. The house can be sold immediately under a contract. Although Zhang Jiaming didn't know his mother, Qian Jia knew it very well. The rural woman who favored boys over girls had never seen the world. She hoped that he and Xiao Xiao, a child with a strange temper, would get along harmoniously. Jane, it was as difficult as climbing to the sky. So while Zhang Jiaming was not paying attention, Chen Jie found Zhang Jiaming's mother and confessed to him their plans for Xiao Xiao. Although rural women did not understand the law, Zhang Jiaming's mother had an innate enthusiasm for taking advantage of others. When she heard that she could get a house for free, Zhang Jiaming's mother was overjoyed. At midnight, she promised to obey Xiao Xiao in everything, and would never delay her son from moving into the large flat. This false peace lasted until the day before Zhang Jiaming's mother was leaving. At night, a shrill cry suddenly broke out in the bedroom where Zhang Jiaming's mother lived. What happened? Zhang Jiaming hurried over, and as soon as he entered the bedroom, Xiao Xiao instantly threw herself into his arms, crying and incoherently, "Dad, let Grandma go, I hate Grandma, why is Xiao Xiao's mother, what happened?" Faced with her son's questioning, Zhang Jiaming's mother felt a little guilty, and immediately raised her voice high, turning the tables. "Look at you, you have made this. What's the matter with you spoiling that little money loser into such a state? It's fine that she eats so many expensive snacks and fruits every day, but you know that the child is in the period of growth, but you still buy her so many clothes, 3 or 4 sets of pajamas and 7 or 8 pairs of shoes. How often can she wear them? You spend money so lavishly. Have you ever considered your younger brother? He has a low education level and can't find a job as good as yours. He works his ass off to earn that little money, which is not enough for your family's food and drink for a month. Now your wife is pregnant with the second child, and there are still mouths to feed at home. I'll pick out some clothes for your daughter and bring them back to your eldest niece. What's wrong with that?" Upon hearing this, Chen Jie was afraid that Zhang Jiaming's mother would take the opportunity to ask them for money, so he quickly interrupted and said, "We are not well off either. Xiao Xiao's usual clothes are bought by his own mother." Upon hearing this, Zhang Jiaming's mother became even more unscrupulous and picked up Xiao Xiao's red leather shoes and put them into the snakeskin bag in front of everyone. "Anyway, that shrew has money, you're just blindly following her. Why are you feeling sorry for her? And why are you crying? You're making me dizzy with noise in the middle of the night. Hurts, what a money loser." Zhang Jiaming's mother stretched out her index finger and tapped Xiao Xiao's forehead. In an instant, Xiao Xiao cried even more miserably. "Dad, don't let him take my leather shoes. I want to go home, I want to go home." When Zhang Jiaming heard that Xiao Xiao wanted to go home, he quickly coaxed her. Don't cry, don't cry. Xiao Xiao, tomorrow Dad will take you to buy new clothes. Dad will buy you the doll you like, okay? You have the money to use for this money loser, but you have no money to build a house for your brother. If I don't beat you, I will beat you to death." The room was suddenly in chaos. In the early morning, I first rehearsed my self-introduction in front of the mirror, and then changed into a professional suit that I hadn't touched for 6 years. After making enough psychological preparations, I finally mustered up the confidence to return to the workplace. However, this good mood only lasted until I just got in the car. The next second, when I saw the message sent by Zhang Jiaming at 4 a.m., it disappeared. "Can you take Xiao Xiao home to stay for a few days first? My mother is here to visit, and there is no room at home. There's no room for her. Did you just find out today how many square meters your home is? Why didn't you tell me you didn't have room for her when you asked me for a child? You've always trained Xiao Xiao to sleep alone, and I'm worried that she won't sleep well if she shares a room with my mother. Xiao Xiao has never seen her grandmother since she was a child, so just let them get closer." I quit WeChat and was about to turn off my phone when a message popped up again. It was about the house in Binjiang New City that I had prepared for Xiao Xiao, so why don't I take them there to live there for a few days? Anyone can hear Zhang Jiaming's calculations through the screen. That house was bought with my own money, and I'm letting you and your mistress move in with my daughter to enjoy it. Zhang Jiaming, are you sick or am I sick? What do you mean by your house? That's Xiao Xiao's. You're even going to occupy your daughter's property. Are you worthy of being a mother? You're just waiting for the rest. I've already filed an application to change Xiao Xiao's custody. From now on, don't even think about seeing Xiao Xiao again. Okay, I'll reply immediately. Xiao Xiao is not my daughter alone. Counting the pregnancy, I'm the only one. People have taken care of her for 7 years. It's your turn as a father to take care of her. Stop talking nonsense here, let's meet in court. Don't bring up the court to scare me. Don't worry, Zhang Jiaming. I'm not as shameless as you. I agree to give up Xiao Xiao's custody. I will let the lawyer settle the future child support on time. I have contacted the lawyer to make changes to the will and the property, and my parents and sister will inherit it in the future. From now on, don't even think about taking a penny from me in Xiao Xiao's name. You mean Xiao Xiao's mother gave up the custody? How is that possible? Chen Jie twisted Zhang Jiaming's arm and screamed. Not only that, the property under your daughter's name has now been sold. The ownership has been changed. It is difficult for us to fight for it, although the lawyer has seen a lot of weirdos. But when he met Zhang Jiaming, who even used his own daughter as a tool to calculate, he couldn't help but tell the couple with a serious look of contempt, "What's the point of me wanting his custody?" Zhang Jiaming grabbed his hair in frustration. That crazy woman even changed the heirs in the will. Xiao Xiao can't get a penny. It's all your fault. You said you would bring him back so that you could threaten his mother to give you money and a house. Now you didn't get the money, and now you want to pay for raising the child. What did you promise me in the beginning? You said that we would have only our child in the future, and you would never let the previous burden interfere in our lives. That's enough. What's the point of saying all this now? Zhang Jiaming shouted, and suddenly stood up and shook off Chen Jie's hand. Chen Jie lost his balance for a moment and fell heavily to the ground. Blood flowed from under Chen Jie's body, staining the marble floor of the office building red. Zhang Jiaming was stunned. Fortunately, the lawyer reacted in time and called an ambulance. With the help of medical staff, Zhang Jiaming accompanied Chen Jie on the stretcher to the hospital. Chen Jie's fetus was not saved after all. The doctor said that Chen Jie's chance of pregnancy might be affected in the future. The doctor even hinted to Zhang Jiaming that if they wanted to have children in the future, it would be better to try other methods. When the news of the miscarriage came out, Chen Jie had no time to cry, but Zhang Jiaming's mother, who was waiting outside the operating room, collapsed. Zhang Jiaming's mother rolled around in the hospital, begging the doctor to save her eldest grandson, and crying and shouting about how miserable her daughter-in-law was. She finally got pregnant, but was miscarried by her son's ex-wife. This ethical drama attracted many onlookers, and even a short video was shot and circulated on the internet, which attracted a lot of attention. When my sister took out her mobile phone and showed me the latest hot news on the internet, I realized that I had become the one in Zhang Jiaming's mother's mouth. They embezzled property before the divorce, pestered Zhang Jiaming after the divorce but could not get his love, and finally cruelly caused Zhang Jiaming's current wife, Ms. Shang, to have a miscarriage. I am not surprised by any despicable things this family does. I threw my phone away and focused on the work at hand. After all, I have been away from the workplace for 6 or 7 years. I cherish the opportunity of this company that is willing to give me back to the workplace. No, sister, someone in the comments has started to expose your identity. My parents and I are worried about your safety. Let me see. With my sister's reminder, I found that there are many digging comments below. Many people even said that they would report the matter to my company and make me lose my job. I don't mess with you, but you mess with me. I was so angry that I immediately contacted my childhood friend Lu Yun, who is now starting a self-media business. Facing the request was made, and Lu Yun agreed immediately. I've heard that your ex-husband is a piece of shit. Don't worry, I'll take care of your matter. The next day, Lu Yun contacted Zhang Jiaming's family and said that she wanted to do an exclusive interview with them. Chen Jie, who was immersed in grief, didn't want to show up in public, but Zhang Jiaming's mother, as a rural woman, had received so much attention for the first time in her life, and her desire to perform was even stronger. Even Zhang Jiaming, her own son, couldn't persuade her. He found Zhang Jiaming and muttered his plan. Now that the house is in the hands of your ex-wife, it's impossible for you to get the house in Xiao Xiao's name. We might as well take advantage of Chen Jie's miscarriage to make a big deal about it. Just like when you divorced and divided the property, his parents were left with a lot of face, and would rather lose money to avoid disaster than be. People laughed at her. Zhang Jiaming's mother, thinking back to the hundreds of thousands of dollars she got for free, felt very happy. We would tell others that it was him who harmed my grandson. He is such a face-conscious person. He would definitely come to us for negotiation. When the time comes, whether he wants money or a house, shouldn't we have the final say? After listening to it, Zhang Jiaming thought for a while and had to admit that his mother's plan was somewhat feasible. He ignored his wife's grief and nodded to agree to the interview. When Lu Yun appeared, Zhang Jiaming's mother repeated the fabricated story in front of the camera with exaggeration. Well, you said that your current daughter-in-law, Ms. Chen, had a miscarriage, and it was your ex-daughter-in-law, Ms. Shang, who did it. Do you have any evidence? Besides her, who else would harm my unborn grandson? What evidence do you need? The death of my grandson is the evidence, but I learned that during the period when Ms. Chen had a miscarriage, Ms. Shang happened to be sent on a business trip by the company and had no chance to take action. Zhang Jiaming's mother had not expected that this reporter had actually conducted an investigation in advance. After a moment of lust, she immediately replied that although he was not there, he left his money loser at home. Yes, it was that money loser who caused my daughter-in-law to have a miscarriage. My poor daughter-in-law, did Ms. Shang send anything to her? When Zhang Jiaming heard this, he felt something was not good. This interview was not meant to set a trap for them, right? He immediately faked coughing, hinting his mother not to answer, but Zhang Jiaming's mother thought she had performed well and did not notice Zhang Jiaming's little movements at all. It was either a misunderstanding or his daughter a burden. Alas, when we found out that he was pregnant with a daughter, we didn't blame him. Anyway, he could continue to have children. Who knew that he would get angry and say that he only wanted this daughter, and would never have any more children? How could a wife be like this? Simply nonsense. Lu Yun had only heard that my ex-husband's family was a freak, but now he knows how much injustice his friend suffered back then. Even if he had good professional qualities, he couldn't help but frown at this moment. And Zhang Jiaming's mother was also full of anger when she talked about the past, and even mistook Lu Yun's black face for disapproval of her ex-daughter-in-law, becoming even more unscrupulous. My Jiaming is the eldest son, and we can't have no descendants because of this woman. So I advised my son, there are women everywhere, you see. As soon as that unlucky woman left, my current daughter-in-law immediately became pregnant with my eldest grandson. Can I understand that your son is? Was it an extramarital affair? Or was it an extramarital affair when his wife was pregnant? When Zhang Jiaming heard this, he stood up to interrupt the interview. Lu Yun's assistant stood up quickly and locked the door of the interview room. How could it be called an extramarital affair? Zhang Jiaming's mother didn't care. It was obviously midsummer. She didn't want to have a baby. Our Zhang family can't be extinct. Then you said that it was Miss Shang's daughter who caused your daughter-in-law to have a miscarriage. Is there any evidence for this? Hey, if it wasn't for that burden. He kept saying that he wanted to move to a big house with his father, but in the end, he didn't see a single hair of the house. Could my daughter-in-law be so angry that she became emotionally unstable and had a miscarriage directly? Now, even Lu Yun, who has always had good professional qualities, couldn't help but want to scold him, but he controlled himself. Everyone is moved by the harmonious relationship between you and your daughter-in-law. I want to ask a question. Next, what do you think about the fertility problems that your daughter-in-law, Miss Chan, will have in the future? Isn't it just childbirth difficulties? We are all experienced people. I will understand my wife. Zhang Jiaming's mother waved her hand, but secretly muttered in her heart that the city people are too squeamish. Who doesn't have difficulty giving birth? You misunderstood. What I mean is that your daughter-in-law, Miss Chan, may not be able to give birth in the future. What do you think about this? Lu Yu hasn't finished speaking yet. What, infertile? What do you mean? Zhang Jiaming's mother stood up abruptly, and her voice suddenly rose 8 degrees. Are you saying that Chan Jia will never be able to have children in the future? Yes, what do you think about this? This time, Zhang Jiaming's mother rushed out of the camera and ran to the next ward. When Lu Yun arrived with the camera, the picture she took was like this. Zhang Jiaming's mother grabbed Chan Jia on the bed and while cursing, he pinched the opponent's arm fiercely with his hand. Well, Chan Jia, you actually hid the fact that you can't get pregnant from me. You are so cruel. Do you want to make my son extinct? Divorce my son immediately. Chan Jia is not to be trifled with. He stood on the hospital bed, grabbed Zhang Jiaming's mother's curly hair, and used the high-altitude advantage to suppress this crazy wife. Do you think I am as easy to bully as your ex-wife? I tell you, I am not a vegetarian. You can divorce me, but he can't take a penny of the marital property. In addition, he owes my parents money, and the medical expenses and maintenance fees for my miscarriage. Don't even think about paying less, you crazy woman. When Zhang Jiaming's mother heard that she wanted to share the money, her fighting power suddenly soared. She turned over and pressed Chan Jia on the bed, unable to move. Bah, my grandson was pregnant and miscarried because of you. I haven't asked you for compensation, but you're asking me for money. I told you I didn't ask. I'm telling you, let alone you, even if it was my ex-daughter-in-law with a background like her, my son would have a way to make her sign the divorce obediently, you cheap bitch. I turned off the short video software, took the nanny, drove and delivered Xiao Xiao's things to Zhang Jiaming's home. After all, from tomorrow, Xiao Xiao's custody will completely belong to his father. After a month, Xiao Xiao was still indifferent when he saw me, and there was no special surprise on his face. I sighed in my heart, squatted down and told Xiao Xiao that from now on, he can live with his father and aunt all the time. Xiao Xiao was not as happy as I thought. He held the teddy bear doll with hesitation on his face. After my repeated questioning and indirect questioning, I gradually pieced together that recently what happened in Zhang Jiaming's family. It turned out that ever since Zhang Jiaming's mother exposed the family scandal in front of everyone, no matter where Zhang Jiaming's family went, they would be pointed at behind their backs. Even Zhang Jiaming's work was affected. He was transferred to a factory in the suburbs by the company's leader on a trumped-up excuse, and his salary was greatly reduced. At the same time, Zhang Jiaming was criticized by the supplier's boss at a meeting for character issues. It can be said that there is no hope of promotion in this life. After the miscarriage, Chan Jia either cried or quarreled with Zhang Jiaming's mother all day long. Zhang Jiaming even disliked Xiao Xiao. The house was in a mess. Dad didn't take me out to play recently. Xiao Xiao pouted her mouth and her tone was full of grievance. Your dad is just in a bad mood recently. He will take you out to play when he is free. No, Dad was in a bad mood because Aunt Chan quarreled at home every day. I really hope Dad can divorce him too so that he will be like Mom and will no longer live with us. I thought that Xiao Xiao's malice was just instigated by his father. It was not until this moment that I realized that he was of the same blood as his father. From the moment he was born, he had carried bad genes. I put away the last glimmer of hope, withdrew my hand that was stroking Xiao Xiao, turned around and left Zhang Jiaming's home. When my mother told me about Xiao Xiao's recent situation, I was sitting in the waiting room of Pudong Airport, preparing to fly to New York on a business trip. At my request, my mother walked the dog for me. When she arrived at my house, she saw Xiao Xiao wandering downstairs. In more than 8 months, Xiao Xiao has grown a lot taller and thinner. The one who used to be the little girl who only loved princess dresses has disappeared, leaving only a sloppy little girl in a loose t-shirt and old-fashioned canvas shoes. Xiao Xiao's grandmother almost didn't recognize her. Did she come to ask me for money? I asked her mother. Yes, the poor child said with tears in her eyes, that bastard Zhang Jiaming is divorced again. He has never met his current girlfriend, but she is pregnant in a few months. The girl's family is very strong. They said they would rather abort the child than let their daughter become a stepmother to a divorced man. They also said that he abandoned his ex-wife who was infertile, and would never agree to the marriage. You also know Zhang Jiaming. His family is so traditional. How can he be willing to accept the fact that he only has Xiao Xiao as a daughter? His girlfriend is pregnant and he threatens to beat the child. I heard that it's a boy. Zhang Jiaming's mother was so scared that she couldn't breathe. Now she is still in the hospital with a cerebral hemorrhage. Later, I closed the magazine in my hand. Compared with these celebrity gossips, the jokes about my ex-husband's family are of course more interesting. Zhang Jiaming certainly wanted to send Xiao Xiao away according to the girl's family's wishes. Xiao Xiao said that her father wanted to send her to the countryside to take care of her grandmother. What a sin! How could a 7-year-old girl take care of an old woman? Zhang Jiaming really has no shame at all. Xiao Xiao was so scared when she heard about it that she ran to find you, Mom. You know? My tone was full of helplessness. At the beginning, sure Xiao Xiao insisted on living with her father, so I gave up the custody. I knew that, so I gave Xiao Xiao a few hundred yuan and told him that you were working abroad and would not be back for a long time. Did Xiao Xiao say anything? She just took the money and left. Hey, the look in his eyes showed that he hated our family. I thinking of Xiao Xiao's expression when she talked about Chan Jie that day. I was speechless for a moment. But no matter what, Zhang Jiaming still pointed to Lawyer Chan to give him child support. I am not afraid that he will abuse Xiao Xiao. As for our family, maybe we really don't have this fate with this child. The mother on the other end of the phone sighed deeply. As a grandmother, she loved Xiao Xiao the most. When Xiao Xiao wanted to eat candied haws in the middle of winter, she would go from street to street to buy them for Xiao Xiao despite the biting cold wind. The fate of mother and daughter is also cultivated. Living together reluctantly will only exhaust the affection faster. I won't say any more, Mom. I'm about to board the plane. I'll call you when I get there. I hung up the phone, picked up the suitcase at my feet, and walked quickly to the boarding gate. Before the age of 28, I got married and divorced, gave birth to and raised children. After the age of 28, my own life has just begun.